All right. If you guys are around, since there's only three of us, if people want to turn on their camera, we can have a less formal breakout group conversation. My plan is to just give a quick overview of some Vision Zero frameworks that have been developed already, so we have kind of a starting point for that. And then the questions that the county and the consulting team were hoping to get some feedback from you guys and take it from there. How's that sound? All right, so do I have everybody? So myself and Tim, and then Steve, James, who is designated town administrator on the thing, Noel, and Pat. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
Nope, that should be it. And Noel and James, if you guys want to come off of mute, please feel free to do so.
All right, so context, which some has already been provided, but with a focus on safety, the 2009 county-wide master plan for transportation did include safety as a piece of it in terms of the overall goals. So safety this is not a new piece, but Vision Zero is a new framework, a new terminology that is meant to sort of bring the safety ideas together to kind of move that zero fatalities agenda. But safety has been a part of the master plan for a while, and so we want to look at how that's reframed. So in that 2009 plan for the 10 complete streets principles that were listed as kind of the driving force of that plan, the safety shows up in a number of different areas. So the question now is, when we do the countywide plan redo, how do we think about that? So now we're at the master plan 2035 effort, and the goal today in this breakout group is to help get insight from you all around from the municipal, so specifically the municipal perspective in what does it mean to have a countywide plan, and what does it mean to have Vision Zero and safety elements in that plan, and how will that affect you? So we're looking at asking you, how can this plan be used as a tool to help you accomplish your needs at the municipal level? And that's what we should focus this conversation on. For the concepts that were presented over the summer, item 5, improve overall safety levels of the county's transportation network. Clearly, safety shows up quite regularly in a lot of things, but the question is, how do we operationalize that? There's also a 2019 Prince George's County adopted a Vision Zero program, and that is outlined in the Vision Zero framework that people probably, if you're in this working group, either know about or are going to be very eager to look at after this conversation. This has been something that has been led up to starting as early as 2002 and thinking about street smarts, and then coming into the Vision Zero framework. So the action plan that exists now, which is the 20 to 2022 framework, lists a variety of stakeholders, but a framework that includes education, emergency response, engineering, enforcement, evaluation, and equity. These would be expected to be elements that would be incorporated, the Vision Zero elements that would be incorporated into the master plan. And as part of the Vision Zero program so far has been some analysis on high injury networks and pedestrian crashes. Of course, at a municipal level, you're going to want to know that at a more granular level, but in a sort of bigger county level, this is what's been put together so far. So that was a very quick, because we don't have a lot of time, kind of introduction. And now these are the questions that we want to put forth to you guys to help us think through, which are early successes that you've seen, impediments to these Vision Zero safety programs. Really, key item is 3 here. How can this master plan help you as a municipal organization achieve these goals? Are there examples of things that you've seen in other places that you would really like to be highlighted or be used in your municipality? Or on the flip side, what are you doing in your municipality that would be great for others to know about in order to be inspired around kind of trying to tackle this? Because I think everyone is trying to come up with better ways of improving safety, and everyone has been doing things differently. And so sharing that kind of knowledge would be great. So with that, we can have some discussion. So I don't know if we want to go around, and the people we have are Kinsley Weems, is that correct? Sometimes people have their names different on their thing. Noel, Steve.
Yep. No, it's Kenzie.
Kinsey.
Thank you.
Great. So do we want to just go around and everybody give a little reflection on some of these questions? I'm going to. If I do this, can you guys still see that screen? Okay.
Yep.
Great. Just gonna take some notes as. All right. Kinsey, do you want to start? Just any thoughts on Vision Zero? Safety, things you are either happy about, frustrated with, or hoping to get out of the county? Here's your what can you get out of the county question?
That's a good question. What can I get out of the county? So, one of the big issues that we find with these, with the municipalities is obviously funding. I've put suggestions out to the state to improve safety, specifically pedestrian safety. And, one of the things that the engineers always come back and say is, well, we follow federal guidelines, which I appreciate, but it's not really helping us here.
And when you say the engineers, is that internal or county engineers?
These are the state highway engineers.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking beyond county. You're talking state.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately,
so that would be a key obstacle.
Yep.
Right?
So unfortunately, we have to go that route first, and then we can go to the county for the plans. At any rate, I think one of the things that would help us is obviously funding's at the top of everything because we can't do anything without funding. We need to improve some of the roadways that are around here. We have a large volume of traffic, so those are some of the frustrations that we see here. I'm sure as the conversation moves forward, we'll
Noel,
elaborate on that.
Thoughts from your perspective?
I'm just from my perspective as far as Vision Zero working. Working.
Yeah, I was trying to get Noel, or is that?
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to get some thoughts from others. We can go to Steve. Hey, Steve.
Hi. Oh, it's interesting. I just refreshed myself on what Vision Zero is. I guess I was looking at a website here. The vision, the traditional approach, and the Vision Zero. In College Park, I guess it was like 7 years ago, we had two fatalities in a row, a week after each other. And since we're a college town, the university, the state, the city, even the county, all got together and they changed the pedestrian signals in the downtown area. There's there's advanced signs, bridge signs that say pedestrian area ahead. All the signals have a barn dance application, so all four legs of the intersections will go red, so there's enough time for anybody to cross the street diagonally. We're glad to, it was interesting to see how that all came about, but it's it's unfortunate that it takes fatalities for that. In the engineering field, they say, well, certain deaths are inevitable, but we can certainly do more to. I mean, they usually react when there's a death. They don't say we react because there's a possibility. It's a couple of things. We had a program down here too where we had students dressed in turtle shells, and they were consulting other students how to cross the street safely. They're good shows, but you have to continue them, and you have to change them a little bit, because of the people's first reactions. Okay, we're not hitting everybody. Let's keep it up, but we have to keep modifying for our customers. So that's pretty much it. And our residential streets, they're all 25 miles an hour. We have lots of speed humps. We have 51 miles of streets, and we have 150 speed humps. No matter what speed limit you post or how uncomfortable you make the road, behaviors, are unpredictable. I mean, we can predict some of them, but not everyone.
Yeah.
So that's my bit from College Park.
Great. Ben?
Ben's parking.
Okay, got it.
Some person who's just kicking people to the rooms.
All right, and then I have. Who am I missing? Whose name?
James Gaston, and if Noel Smith is.
James?
No, the only issue we have is on 30th Street in the town of Brentwood. We are trying to get the state to allow us to install a number of stop signs, and we're trying to get through that process. So, especially now that the time has changed, it's pretty dark, and so we've got a lot of people who unfortunately speed through this area.
Gotcha, thank you.
And in terms of that, is that again, that sounds like it's a state issue. Are you ever able to point, when you go to the state, point to any of these Vision Zero county documents? In other words, how do you feel that the county planning process or political process can help you through this, or do you find that they don't? I guess I'm just sort of being.
Is that a question for me, or is that a question for the group?
Yeah, just based on what you had said about.
Right. So right now we
are
relying on our elected official because they sit on the subcommittee. And since it is a state road, just like Rhode Island Avenue, we also have issues with Rhode Island Avenue. But for 38th Street, it has a number of stop signs on it, but it still hasn't curtailed speeding on our street. We don't want to really install speed humps, so maybe stop signs is the best solution.
Which is the committee that you mentioned?
Correct. Yeah, they're going to make the recommendations to the state, and then the state will make the determination as to whether or not we're going to receive the stop signs we've requested.
Right. Remind me what that committee is. Is that a
state highway administration, state highway something? Give me one
Sounds
second.
like. So is it something where the county isn't involved at all in any of this?
Not per se, but ultimately, they're going to have some input, if you will, because of course it's a state road, but for the most part, no, it's a state road. So I guess no, they wouldn't, but having the county's endorsement would go well with us.
And what would be the process to get that endorsement?
A letter. I would forward it to my state representative, chief of staff, and indicate that the next time the committee meets, that the county is in support of the town's request for, I want to say 3 or 4 additional stop signs on 38th Place.
Yeah. One last question. I know I'm digging into this one, but from a process perspective. So what process would you use to get a letter?
Besides you presenting it, it never even dawned on me. I guess
Okay.
I would ask my county executive representative and ask her for a letter. I'm not at that point yet because I'm waiting for the
Yeah.
state to make that determination. If we want to appeal or if we don't get, quote unquote, get what we want, then maybe an endorsement letter from the county would be helpful.
Great. All right, Noelle, are you here back? Maybe
So
you're on mute.
Noelle said she's having some sound issues.
Okay.
She's not hearing much of the conversation. I'm trying to troubleshoot through that.
Got it. Okay. Is there anyone else who I didn't hear from?
Regarding the
Yeah.
state house, we have US 1. I talked about the state. We also have Rhode Island Avenue, which goes through the northern portion of our city. Years ago, probably 7, 8 years ago, there's a device called rectangular rapid flashing beacons.
Yep.
A council member was somewhere, came back and said, they'd like to put these on in the city. Where would they be most viable? Rhode Island Avenue, because that bisects 2 communities, and it's sometimes very difficult to find the in traffic to get across the road. We've asked the county, the traffic signals, but they don't meet warrants. And we asked them about the RRFBs, and they say the state does not recognize them. So, through conversations, we were able to actually install them on the county road with their permission, through a special permit. Was basically holding them harmless for should anything bad happen because of the devices. Since then, I think last year, 2 years ago, now the state recognizes RFBs and the county is installing them throughout their area. But the process that we had was this open conversation. What would allow them to do something that isn't quite traditional, and pretty much hold them not responsible for anything bad happening. And also we work with them to cite the locations so that it's on their road. They were kind of we used them as a consultant, but we just had really good communications.
Yeah. All right. So let me just make sure I get the right characters involved. So when you say the special permit that was needed was in essence for the state, because the state is the one that has to deal with it, but you were working, so the county was supportive of it, but needed the state to have the extension. Is that correct?
I wasn't clear. Now, if the state didn't recognize the device, so the county wouldn't recognize the device.
Okay.
We through the county, and we got a special permit through the county.
Got it. Okay. The county was the one that wanted you to have the special permit because they were the ones that didn't want to be responsible because it was their road.
Right.
Got it. Okay. But the process, so this sounds like this is a good example, and then, just so you know, this has been happening all over the country, so you're not the only one that got stuck in the like trying to be ahead of the curve on some of these devices. But this is an example of you were trying to do something ahead of the curve, struggled, ended up making it happen, but now that particular device is now approved, and now you wouldn't have this problem again. Are there other examples that any of you have where there are either devices or tools or things that you are struggling with currently that are in similar example to the rapid flash beacon one?
I won't say that we're struggling with technology in that regard. However, I will say, and hopefully I'm going to speak specifically to District Heights, but hopefully other municipalities that are affected by this have similar issues. Hopefully, it's not just District Heights. But we have a county maintained road that goes through our. Let me turn my radio off real quick. Sorry.
Now, if something bad happens while the radio's off, I'm going to feel bad.
Pretty much. I have people for that.
No, I know, I'm teasing.
So one of the issues for the past 3 years, actually going on 4 years now, is I've requested from the county in written form to the Department of Public Works and Transportation, to the director. His name's escaping me at this point right now. Maybe it's better I don't name names. Anyways, at the time, the state had a ruling in Comar that you had to request in writing from the county in order to put a speed monitoring system in place on a county road that is within a municipality in Prince George's County. And for 4 years in a row, we were denied literally on the 59th day. And the reason that is a struggle is because we maintain the road. And the county will not let us put a camera up on that road. No matter what we do, we will go out there. We respond to all of the traffic crashes out there. We handle all of the county does have a crossing guard that goes out there on County Road, but we handle all of the crashes. We handle the beginning and end of day traffic that goes along County Road, and it is a main thoroughfare between Marble Pike and Walker Mill Road, and it is a 25-mile-an-hour zone in a school zone, and we cannot get the county to allow us to put a camera up there. So that is one of the struggles that we have, is actually getting the authorization and permission from the county.
Yeah, that's a good example of a struggle. Tim, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, Tim, I can't hear you.
No problem. I just want to let you guys know we got about 5 minutes left in the breakout.
Great. Other examples of struggles, we had a couple of those, or I mean, the struggle about the rapid flash beacon is also a success. It's like, okay, spending the time to push to do that. Chief has kind of we've got ideas and plans for improving safety and are having difficulty either being told we can't do that, but not be given an equal or better alternative. It's sort of like, it sounds like you probably would be open to doing something different if they were supportive of something that would get you equal or better reduction, increase in safety. Any other examples?
We have, one of the issues we have here is on Marlboro Pike is, our traffic lights are outdated. They are, I mean, literally they're probably, I mean, I don't want to say I'm 42 years old. I would venture to say they're older than me. And when you come up to some of these lights, you cannot see, the light. You have to kind of hunker down and look up to see whether or not the light's green. I think a little bit of technology would go a long ways there.
Yeah. And a quick kind of engineering on that one is, relatively speaking, that is the cheaper thing to fix than the actually controller box. So if you were going to say it's old, well, usually the concern is it's old and therefore we can't change the settings and we can't make it more, we can't be more innovative with the pedestrian cycles. But in your case, you're saying we need more signal heads. We need properly lit signal heads, and it sounds like it's just, the amount of lumens that thing is giving off is a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
So great.
That's no problem.
All right. Other thoughts? Did we get Noel, or is Noel
No,
unable to be with us? Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Not that I can necessarily answer Prince George's County questions, but I know some of you are kind of new to Vision Zero. If you have any questions that I can talk through about things people are doing around the country that might help give a sense of this, a sense of maybe where some of this came from nationally and internationally.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Noel. Thank you.
Oh, good. I know I missed most of the conversation by now, but I was in this actual session yesterday, so
yeah.
I believe you guys were too. So I really just had the same sentiments of yesterday.
Yeah. I think what we did, we didn't go through the formal questions because there are a few people. So we're really just having a conversation about challenges and some safety initiatives that were challenging at the beginning, but then went through and people are pretty psyched about. So I guess in our last couple minutes, if you want to share, and we're trying to understand how the types of safety issues that you're working on connect directly with the county and therefore the county plan. So if you have thoughts on things that you've done to improve safety and achieve Vision Zero, or challenges that you've had where some support from the county would have been helpful, or ways that a collaboration worked, any examples are
Well, I know one big thing with our planning department, we don't really have like a measurable for measurement for safety. But one thing that we do harper on in our reviews and referrals is making sure they're separated via vehicular and pedestrian facilities. So that's one of the main things that we can implement in our policies and within our reviews, our development review.
Okay, so wait, you live in the city of College Park? Okay, I live.
So your key thing is that if a developer is going to develop something and they're not going to put in a sidewalk, you have control over pushing that. That's the real focus of your reviews.
Correct. So we can recommend and we enforce it by the policies that are in our sector plans and master plans. But ultimately, it is up to the approval of the operating agency, which is DPI in most cases, and sometimes it's the municipalities. But we are a recommending authority, but we cannot implement really or enforce. We can just give our reason and try to plead our case of why.
Got it. And can you just clarify, what was the agency that you said has the authority?
The Department of Permitting Inspections and Enforcement, DPI, also DWNT, DPWNT, and then the municipality agencies, or SHA also. Whoever is operating and owns and maintains the roadways really has the approval.
Thanks, Noel. We've got about 10 seconds left, guys, before
Right.
everyone will get kicked back to the main room.
Thank you, everybody. That was really helpful. Appreciate the time.